can you hear me now?
There we go.
All right. Sorry about that glitch. My son he came up with a good idea. Can you move that chair because I can't read those, the comments there, sweeties.
Yeah, we have sound now.
Okay. So if you could move that chair, that would be great. All right. So let's see what else we've got going on. So sorry about that. We've got a new setup going on here, and you're just working through some of the kinks. So I'm assuming you can hear me now, Priscilla. We have quiet listener. Thank you, Vicki, for coming. I'm very glad you're here. And again, Raven and Rowley. Raven, thank you for coming. Watched your video last night. You are really a brave lady. I need to say that right to your face, dear. You're a brave woman. I really think you're doing a phenomenal job. You've openly talked about your age in our interview, so I'm just going to say you've got 20 years on me, sweetheart, and I think you are so much braver than I am. And I don't know if I could do what you're doing. Well, 19 years from now. I just don't. Thin Blue Lane RV Life, thank you guys for coming by.
What does everyone think about the new setup?
So, do you have any opinion on the new setup? I know I'm clear back away from the desk. I'm at the table. My son wanted to try this out.
And we're using a new mic. We're going to be getting a streamer mic, though.
We're using a new mic. We'll be getting a streamer mic. I'm so far from the screen. I'm hoping that I get to do everything I need to do, like transition-wise. Okay, working and listening. All right, so Chair Park, thank you for coming so much. Glad you're here. Eddie, Priscilla. For those of you who don't know, that is my little sister. She is the youngest of 6 female siblings. Yes, trust me, I hear about that all the time. He's changing, fixing, doing something. He's taken away my hand controller. All right. Oops. Rowley is Raven's little dog. He is so cute. He's got the heart of a lion. He really does. All right. Hellos to everybody. So what did you think of the video as far as now not everybody likes pork. I love pork. I think it's almost as good as chicken, or it's as good as chicken, really, in my opinion. Truthfully, I love it, and I use it a lot. And by the way, Cuban stew is so good. It is one of the things I'll make, and when I do it, I will do a video on it because it's well worth it. There is just a warmth and I don't even know the right words for it. It's just really, really nice. Really nice. All right, so if you don't mind remembering the thumbs up, getting it out of the way would be helpful. All right, so a couple of things. I love to cook. I am a fairly decent cook. I learned how to cook from a mom who cooked for a lot of people. She and my aunt lived with us my entire life. It was her sister-in-law. But my mother cooked all the major giant meals. And there was nothing that she could not cook. And I think Rich Gay Alex, that would be my son. Wonderful. I love him. I just love him. He's an only child. What can I say? Okay, so anybody who's got an only child who has heard the stories of only children, I can tell you they're true. But truthfully, he does try to help me a lot. Yes. No flipping me off now. He's a sweet kid. He tries to do everything to make things better for me.
I love you too.
And he's a great cook too when he wants to be. So I learned to cook, and I'm always looking for new recipes. And I like using things that are not normal to me. Finding a different way to do it. Let's see what Vicki has to say. Your doorbell, and I ring it. I first let you know I'm here. I've liked. Thank you.
Why is euphemism?
Yep. So there's also some things that I wanted to talk about today. And before I go on to that, I'm going to change out my scrolling at the bottom. If you see somebody here that you don't know, note down their name. This is exactly how I did it. Noted down their name, went to their channel, and watched a couple of videos, gave them the, rang the bell, watched them for a while, and that is the way I made my friends on YouTube. And I still do it that way today. I'm just, I'm uncomfortable doing it any other way. So I recommend, if you are working on building your channel, that if you see somebody here you don't know, you do the same thing. Write their name down. After the video, after the live stream, go check them out. Let them know that I sent you. Just put Butter sent me, BUTR. And there's a lot of things going on. So as a prepper, so 2 pieces to my channel: burning up the roads, which we're not able to do right now for myriad of reasons, mainly medical. And I'm getting ready to have another MRI pretty soon. The back is just a mess. Sometimes I wonder if I'm ever going to get to go do anything again, but I will. It's just going to be patience. And so, well, Eddie, I'm glad you're new. I'm glad you're here, and I will check out your channel after my stream today. And by the way, if something happens, hey, you lose me, hang out for 1 minute, and you will be back, because I'm using a camera now, a Canon Rebel. I bought it a 1.5 years ago and have not used it.
We're using the Canon Rebel EOS T100.
Canon Rebel EOS T100. And we're just trying this out and seeing how it works. The picture is definitely better, much better. So
let's just give them a little zoom in to just show them.
Well,
it's a pretty good camera.
Yes. I bought a camera that was the middle of the road as far as its capacity. I will be able to, with this camera, it is the lowest grade that you can start adding other lenses to. So I could have bought a little cheaper one, but I want a better camera. I want to have a better lens, blah, blah, blah. So I spent a little bit more. So here's Tactical Nomad Overlanding. Welcome to you. Glad you're here. So much fun. All right, so some of the issues. So there's some things going on. And part of my channel is, of course, the travel. We have an older Class C, and it's still, I see another person who's popped in here, and that would be the Polarin Message. Is that what it says? Polarin Message? The Polarin Message. Thank you for coming. Glad you're here. And so, Well, thank you, Eddie. Oh, all right, cool. That's good to know. Appreciate that I'm praying for patience and guidance while waiting. Yeah, you know what? The physical instability it's no fun. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at it. It's depressing. It's frustrating. I'm not good at waiting for what I want, and so I'm working on that. A lot of self-reliance content coming on my field tech channel. Thank you for putting that. So, Kaylee, if you want to drop that link, I would appreciate it very, very much. All right, so there's several things going on. And I noted here in the beginning that, I wanted to talk RVing with G. Hello, George. Glad you popped in. Thank you for coming. I wanted to talk about several things. I'm going to share the screen. And since I'm at such a distance, people.
They're asking you to put in the chat what camera you use.
Okay, let me put in the chat, and I will put it also in the description. I have to put that in. A Rebel or Canon Rebel. What was the other part, Brent?
EOS T100.
The EOS isn't necessary. All right, that.
It's in the poster comment.
Okay. The Canon C.
It's not writing.
Huh. Why would it not be
Now
writing?
it's writing.
Okay.
Now try it.
Canon.
One N in the middle.
All right, let me try this again. CANNONREBE.
It's one N in the middle.
One N?
CANON.
T100.
Thank you, Tactical Nomad Overlanding US, for putting it in the chat. 2 hours later. I'm kidding.
All right, so I'm going to go through a couple of things because it concerns me. I think unless you're living underneath of a rock, everybody knows there's stuff going on, whether it be here in our communities, whether it be in nationwide or internationally. There's stuff. And as a matter of fact, some frightening stuff. So I try to stay on top of that stuff. I don't do as much as some people do because I really can't. I get really emotional about it. And for instance, here in Lane County, actually, as a crow flies from my house about 2 miles, a person who was living in a tent intentionally got ran over and killed by an 18-year-old boy who was having a bad day, as he told the good Samaritan that helped stop him. He went crazy with his vehicle. He ran. He hit 2 other people. One of them he hurt seriously, and he killed this woman. And the person who was with her was just inches away. There have been kidnappings, attempted kidnappings. There have been more physical violence, one-on-one, whether it be with a weapon of one sort or another, or simply fists. And I have to say something. Yesterday, Oregon Ducks, my team, my alma mater, as a matter of fact, I love the Oregon Ducks. They were ugly. See, they were ugly. After the game, we did beat the pants off of Was it Utah? I believe it was Utah. So I believe it was Utah. At the end of the game, were saying horrible things about Mormons specifically.
BYU.
BYU. Excuse me, it was BYU. And they were saying horrible things. There's just no room in my world for that. Personally, I couldn't stand by. I mean, literally, if I were present, I couldn't stand by and not express my unhappiness with that. Now, I am becoming less where I'm just going to jump because I have physical disabilities. I can't run any longer. Okay, so I have to weigh out what my potential cost is going to be. And I do not have a concealed carry permit yet, but I will be getting a concealed carry permit. And I am practicing. I can take my weapon completely apart, lay it on the table, clean every bit of it, and put it back together with no help, okay? I got it down. So I'm learning these things in order to better protect myself and the people that I love. So,
Kaylee says, wait, what? I'm confused. There was pork, top.
there was pork.
Did you mention pork earlier?
Oh, the video. You saw the video. It was we broke down a pork loin. It was about an 8 to 10 pound pork loin that Richard and I broke down together. We do it together because I do the cutting. I know exactly how much I'm cooking. Richard does the packaging, and one set of hands is clean at all times. So there is so much more going on right now in the world around us, and I think that yes, the pork premiere. Okay, Kaylee, are there 2 streams? I did a pork premiere that should have brought people right over to this stream. And that was just a premiere. So
So do you have 2 streams going right now?
Are there 2
I'm
streams?
looking.
My son is going to look and see if there are 2 streams going on. So I want to share one of the stories I wanted to talk about.
One live stream.
Okay, only 1 live stream. All right, good to know.
3 likes. Interesting. Let's get our likes up, guys. Do it.
This is a really sad story, in my opinion, and now I can't see.
It's really sad? You better read it then.
Yeah. So this story is North Brent. I cannot read the story from there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Big enough?
You see what I'm saying? You've got this covering up about a quarter of the screen. The camera.
I can't help it that they decided to put all on the left side of the web. Well, at least you could read half of it.
So can I have that back? And we're going to make an adjustment. I hope you will stick with us for a moment. In order to see the screen, he's going to have to fix
I'm going to adjust the camera, everybody.
the camera.
Oh, God. Let's go back to StreamYard so I can see myself. I need to see you. So if you could stop sharing.
Okay, stop. Okay.
All right, let's see. Sorry, everyone. We're just going to make a quick fix real quick.
But if you break the camera, So the gist of it is New York passed some gun laws in June, I believe it is. All right, we're going to think that would be.
I'm just trying to get it.
And people who do reenactments are not going to be able to do reenactments in New York. All right. All right, so I'm going to share the screen. And let's see if we can't get this little bugger.
Actually, can you go back real quick? We're almost done fixing the camera, everybody.
Okay.
Hit cancel.
Cancel. We're getting there. I promise. Gotta go help Kelly. All right. Well, thank you, Priscilla, for coming by.
Okay.
All right. All right.
We'll have all the kinks worked out next stream.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for coming, Priscilla. So, back to where I was at. All right. I want to share this story. Because it kind of reflects some of the things that are going on in this country right now. So the title
Here's my
was
salute to Fedzilla.
North Country officials say new gun law prohibits Battle of Plattsburgh reenactments. So we'll read some of the story.
Is this a kinky live stream?
New York's new gun laws that went into effect September 1st are causing the cancellation of some Battle of Plattsburgh reenactments this weekend. And organizers say it's not the only historic commemoration New York affected by the laws passed in a special session in July. During the battle.
You sure you don't want me to put the camera back?
During the Battle of Plattsburgh commemoration, reenactors from New York, Canada, and Northeast demonstrate the ground battles that occurred as a naval battle took place simultaneously on Lake Champlain. They also marched in a parade with muzzle loaders, flintlocks, and black powder rifles and camped on the grounds of the local historic museum. But there's a problem this year. State Assemblyman D. Billy Jones, a Democrat representing the 115th district, says New York's new gun law specifically prohibits all of those activities. We stand here on the eve, actually on the start of the Battle of Plattsburgh, and we are threatened with not having our reenactors here because of the new concealed carry permit legislation. The reenactors cannot do the reenactment in sensitive areas. When they do their performances, when they march down the street carrying their weapons, that is considered a sensitive area under the law, and they are restricted from doing that under the law. So we stand here at the start of the Battle of Plattsburgh, and now we're going to have a Battle of Plattsburgh without the battle. Governor Kathy Hochul.
Can I interject and ask your opinion on that part of the story?
Sure.
So, why can't they use wooden replicas that aren't guns? You know what I mean? Like fake guns that aren't real guns. It's not a real war. Why do they need real guns?
Okay, well, so reenactments use.
And why do we even need reenactments?
Okay.
It's not like we're reenacting the H.
So we are.
You know what I mean?
We are reenacting events that are real, that took place in our history, and that passed down generation to generation need to happen because we're losing things from history books that actually happened. And so
But don't you agree that history books were slightly swayed
people like
by the
this,
winners?
are losing, communities are losing out. So Governor Kathy Hochul, whatever, called lawmakers back to Albany in July to respond to the June Supreme Court decision throwing out the state's century-old limit on carrying concealed weapons. Lawmaker designated sensitive locations where concealed concealed carrying remains prohibited, among other changes. So the fact of the matter is, it was their way of giving the finger to the Supreme Court.
Please put Polaris his message on the screen. It is
Okay.
hilarious. He says, Vernon, you need a camp op that's not going to talk against you.
Well, Polaris, we, in my family,
That's called a dictatorship.
in my family, I have taught my son to have his own thoughts, whether they're right or wrong, and to be able to speak out for himself. However, it is my show, young son. So 1814 Commemoration Incorporated organizes the Battle of Plattsburgh. President Tom Donahue said he found out about the restrictions earlier this week when a reenactor from Rochester called to ask him if the event was off.
Can we pause it? We need to check the microphone one more time. Because Kaylee said she believed it was coming through the... Or no, it was technical nomad.
Okay.
She said that he thinks... Oh wait, actually.
Okay, so
Stop sharing, I guess.
stop sharing.
We'll be
So,
right back to this story.
well, we don't, I'm going to put that story in the, all right. He's going to check in the audio. So my fear, and it is real fear, is that these kind of laws will prevent history from being shared. The good, the bad, and the, oh my God, I can't believe we did that. We are trying to figure this out. Kaylee, I wish the Buffalo organizers had gotten a heads up about this, and they could have figured out a way to carry out the reenactment without running afoul of the new law. Well, Kaylee, so it's my opinion, and this is just an opinion, is that they don't want these reenactments going on. I think some of these, some people feel that it is a glamorization of it, and I don't think that's what it's about. I believe that it is about trying to make sure that the reality of the things that happen stay alive and taught to people. She can hear loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear.
All right.
All right. So that was one thing. So what do you guys think of that? Do you have a feeling or an idea or a belief about why they are doing that? Do you think that I'm on target, that it is intentional way of trying to tamp down the history? Just a question. Reenactments are a live history of how this country came into existence. It's living history. Authenticity is necessary to demonstrate the veracity and the weight that was cast upon settlers who were battling the oligarchy of King George III. Amen. Agree.
And I would like to say reenactments are supposed to be the action of performing a new version of an old event, usually in a theatrical performance.
Okay, well that's not
That's technically technically a reenactment.
Well, no, a reenactment in the terms of what we're discussing, and what my concern is if I want to go see the reenactment of Plattsburgh, I want to see what, to the best of knowledge has to share, happened. I don't want to see someone's reinvention of it. There's where my worry is.
I mean, the modern reenacting is thought to have begun during the 1961-1965 Civil War Centennial commemorations. Now, my wonder is, my instant thought would be, what's their race? That's what it comes down to, essentially, because Civil War was about essentially race. Civil
So
War.
look at Plattsburgh, please.
I don't know about Plattsburgh, but
Right.
Civil War reenactments, for instance.
I don't think that's what that was. What about all the Southern battle reenactments? Aren't they? Okay, so Kaylee, Roy and Becky were highly involved in reenactments, and they are no longer involved because they've been, for the most part, called off.
It ended the final British invasion of the northern states of the U.S. during the War of 1812.
All right, so it was the War of 1812. So, as Tactical Nomad was talking about. Hello, the Sand Van. Thank you for coming. Glad you're here. We're just having a kind of a wide discussion. I think they are trying to get rid of the guns. I think so. RV Adventure. Oh, you used to be a reenactor. Really? So what did you do? Would you mind sharing that? I would love to hear that story. Truthfully, love to hear that. I'm Char. I think history is very important. And 5 years ago, I was told there was going to be no need for science and history teachers. They would merge facts in English and math. Well, that would be terrifying. Okay? I mean, really, that would not be something I wanted to see. And I will tell you this, if my son, who's 33 today, if he were in school today, I would be homeschooling him. You can bank on that. I didn't have, when he was young, I didn't believe I had the knowledge to do it. I now know I could very well have done it, even back then. The purpose is to educate, and it's supposed to be true to history. There you go. There you go, Raven.
Now, is Lucretia, is she very clear to you guys? Or is she grainy?
I hope don't get censored too much. Exactly. Censored and also forced into a hole that they are not the peg that fits. No, definitely not a reinvention, just a reenactment. Otherwise, the perception of history gets skewed 110%. Yes, Pam. Fairy dust. Still listening. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're still here. I'm just going through RV Adventures. I lived in Plattsburgh for. Oh, you did? Oh, cool. I have always, so my little sister and I have always wanted to. Joe and Jesse down in Georgia. Well, thank you for stopping in. I'm not sure that I've been to your channel yet, but I definitely will come by, stop by, and say hi. Thank you for coming. So my little sister and I always wanted to go spend a couple of years on the East Coast. You know, we're Oregonians, our ancestors, at least two branches of our ancestors. One branch came here in 1846. Okay, so to Oregon, and I am an Oregonian. Without going into it, I'm not a fan of the where the state is at politically. I have no representation, but you know, that's life. So there's times I would love to move out of this state, but I don't think I could move, like have my address be, have another domicile address because these people came here over amazing, me? By the way, I do want to congratulate my son, what is your name on TikTok? Rich Gay Alex on TikTok, over 1 million views. And he has gotten me into TikTok, a little bit.
Now you're over 1,000 followers and several thousand views.
Yep. Anyway, we wanted to go stay over there for a couple of years. And
what's your TikTok name?
Love it. I'm not sure exactly.
Burn it up the road.
Here, I'll let you find it on my phone. So I knew we couldn't just go do it overnight, for 2 weeks, something like that. We wanted to go spend a couple of years and go to all of the reenactments and all of the historical things that happen during the summer, the spring and summer, in the colonies. And I really have always wanted to do that. I still want to do that. I just don't know how much they're doing of that today. Wonder how they feel. Oh, I know they're not happy. I would guarantee they're not happy. I would bank on that. Battle of Plattsburgh, also known as the Battle of Lake Champlain, ended in the final British invasion of the northern states of the United States during the War of 1812.
That's
I was just thinking, so the other day, the War of 1812 popped into my head, and I do not know why. I really don't. I was teaching the tiles in 1774. That seems like a long time ago to be teaching. Charles Haley. Textiles. Okay, textiles. Video is great. I'm glad you liked it, Kaylee. Sound is great. Good. I'm not sure I like the positioning of where I'm at because I'm used to being up at the desk where I can access and see things much more clearly. All right, so let me go through here and see if there's anything I've missed. Training, but it might be connection. Okay. Was fought by the United States of America and its independent allies against the United Kingdom and the allies in British North America. So speaking of United Kingdom, I don't know about the rest of you, but I am very sad about Queen Elizabeth, other than she lived a very long life. And I know there's a lot of hate has been spewed out at that lady. But I'll tell you what, if I can live my life with the dignity that woman has had and the stalwart, just that stalwart commitment to her duty. Not very many people, honestly, I don't think very many people can do that kind of thing. It's just my opinion, but. All right. Camp Goer 1. Well, hello to you. I'm so glad you're here. I'm in a different position here in my family room, in my office, and I'm not comfortable with it, but this is what happens when you have an only child. When I had an only child, he has a lot more control than he should. History repeating itself. Never believed that years back. Yep, absolutely. I would have never thunk many things. Many Van Vita Travels, welcome. Thank you for coming. Oh my gosh, your live stream was so good last night. There are so many things I could have said, but I'm glad I did not put my hand up to come up on the panel. You know, I think my son-in-law was in the kitchen, which is just my computer screen is a large screen TV that my son decided I needed. How big is it, Brent?
What?
The TV?
Your new screen is 50 inches.
Okay, so my new computer screen is 50 inches. It's a pain in the butt, and I just came in here one day and he had done it. Okay, that's just kind of how he rolls. And so I'm having to learn how to use it. So anyways, his husband was on the other side of it last night while your live stream was going on. And he came around and he was like, what? What? Yeah, it was pretty damn good. Yep. That's his handle. Rich Gay Alex. And a constitutional carried state where freedom remains. I thought you were in Idaho. I did. I thought you were in Idaho. Montana, though, is beautiful. I would love to come to Montana. I would love to come to Montana. All right, so let's see. I've only got, and let me go back up here. I went through that too quick. All right, so just looking at everything here real fast. Wow, that jumped real fast. All right, so I could just take phenomenal inner strength. Yes, phenomenal inner strength. Now, I think the new king is going to be problems. The guy cries over his pins.
He's just telling them to move it off the desk.
Oh,
anybody.
I'm telling you, I would not. I'm not going to even use the words I was thinking to myself.
I'm ready to sit with you.
Oh, you're ready to sit with me. I did not know you were going to sit. You're welcome to sit with me.
Hi, everyone.
This is my son, Rich Gay Alex, whom I also call Brent because I actually named him Brent.
It's one of my middle names.
It's one of his middle names. He changed his name, his full name, from his father and I named him Richard Brent Lake. He is now
Alexander James Richard Brent Ziwata.
Alexander Brent.
No.
Alexander James.
How could you forget James? That's your dad's name.
I know.
That's the whole reason I picked James from your dad.
Okay, Alexander James Richard Brent Ziwata. Yes. So that is, seasons are changing. Yes, excellent live stream. Excellent live stream. The thoughts about history is how the people from the East, how they lived while traveling to the West, especially if they didn't have horses and or stagecoach. I know. So when I was in college, I got my bachelor's degree when I was 50, and I started into graduate school immediately. Literally, the day of graduation, the new term started. And so I didn't go that day, but I was going to graduate school in public policy. Health policy was going to be my specialty. And that was what my master's degree I was working on, and I got a year into that, and then my spine started collapsing. This disease in my spine, which a lot of people get, by the way, is like, it's on steroids. okay? And it's just a little different of an animal. So I took a class called Town Founding, and it was the process of how the towns were founded going east to west, and how people decided like what groups of people went north, kind of up into the Great Lakes, and why you find so many Scottish, and why you find so many like out here, like just near where we live, about 10 miles. It's called the Scandinavian Festival every year, and in Junction City, Oregon, a small town of about 7,000 people, and it is in the area, what would you call, agricultural area, and there is all kinds of Scandinavian countries represented there that were living in Junction City area. Now, by the way, this is where my family that came here in 1846, that would be the same neighborhood, so to speak, in the big sense, that they, and Richard's family too, settled in and got the donation land claims. So, and I do come from Scotch and Irish heritage with Indian as well, but the Scotch Irish heritage is quite more profound. So, when I was a little girl, we went there every year for this. They do all kinds of exhibits. They perform. They make great Scandinavian food. And so, anyways, it's a cool event that happens once a year. So my point is that you can look almost also at the architecture going east to west, and you can see the trail of, and the people that went down south and settled in the Midwest and whatnot. So I loved it. I loved that class. And by the way, it was one of the hardest classes I took, and it was an online class. And every time I would take the test, I would be sobbing from the depths of my soul because the professor would make it so difficult. But it really hooked me. It really hooked me. All right. So what time is it? Alex? Okay, 3:40. Okay, Camp 4-1. Oh wait, come back up here. Very nice. We plugged in, they didn't have this. Okay. I feel sad for Queen Elizabeth's family, but their loss holds no sorrow for me. Remember, we had to fight her great-great-great-great-grandfather for the freedom we now enjoy. Yes, and I do know that I do believe that we are friends with them. I do.
But we should not hold our fathers, our children accountable for their father's sins. You know what I mean?
Well,
so just because somebody fought their great-great-great-great-grandfather doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Doesn't mean they don't deserve sorrow and empathy and sympathy.
Well, as human beings, no. We just have to remember that.
Remember, we won.
Well, that's true. We did win.
We don't have a king of America. So I think,
Yes.
It's cute. It's adorable.
It's adorable. I love you.
And I love all of your friends.
Well, that's cool, Brent.
They're so sweet.
Alex.
You actually.
Alex.
It's nice.
I was wondering if this was you. What do you mean? Okay, Lee, not each person. You think it's a wonder to me. So perhaps they waited to get those things before taking the journey. So I have to say, I agree. I don't know. And I don't know how they survived, really. It was such a harrowing trip. Clearly, the books are written. We have a diary somewhere. I mean, it's the original handwritten diary of one of the people, a lady who came. And I have to find it. I really need to find it. It just matters. It matters. I wish I had understood these things when I was in high school, but I didn't.
Hi, Roy and Becky's Travels.
Hi, Roy and Becky's Travels. Thank you for coming in. We were talking about the reenactment issue up in New York. I don't know if you're aware of it, but the Plattsburgh reenactment cannot go forward because new laws were passed in New York as a way to, again, I'm just going to put it in my own words, give the finger to the Supreme Court who said that New York could not have such stringent gun laws. So now they are making it very difficult for this reenactment that was supposed to take place.
All right, I'll bid you all adieu.
All right, thank you.
Have fun. I'll see you in a little bit, and everyone, see you on stream.
All right. That I have Viking heritage along with my native and a few others. It's no wonder I have the warrior spirit and have for my entire life. I can imagine. I can see that in you. Very much so. And we need that today. I mean, personally, so everybody has their own personality. Everybody's got their own way of being in the world. And they have to be comfortable with that. But I think it's going to be harder for those who do not have a fighting spirit to survive comfortably. I mean, emotionally comfortably. Going forward over the next decade. From now forward, honestly, we are never going backwards, people. I don't think for 1 second. I'm not somebody who thinks, oh, we're just going to get through this, over this hump, and everything we're going to be, 2019, 2018. It's never going backwards. Howdy, howdy. All right, so in my town, 10 miles from Los Angeles, back in the very end of 1800s, people would camp for days being by San Gabriel River. Water would take a long time. It takes me a few minutes. Oh, I know. So I was watching a YouTube channel this morning called Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. They have 1 million subscribers, or right about 1 million subscribers. And they've been living off grid for 13 years. And there was, he made very clear, there's number one, we always have to remember is water, and not allowing ourselves to be at the mercy of someone else. Now, I'm not in a position, I am. That's one of the places where we are on city water. My father never drilled a well here, had one drilled here. Doesn't mean we could not drill here, but just there's not a well on this property. So we're on local utilities. There was a time my father wanted to put this house, deck it in solar. He also wanted to put a windmill here, and he wanted to drill the well. Specifically the well more for the garden and watering the lawn, which we're not doing right now because it's just too expensive. But I know people are going to mail me. Was long before I understood anything about solar. And if I could shrink away from saying this, I would, but I can't. I fought him. I thought only poor people do that, Dad. You do not need solar. I know. I know you're all laughing at me and I deserve it. You're probably making faces and thinking how stupid is Lucretia. But truthfully, I just thought I fought him and I did not want it. And my father deferred a lot to me, unfortunately. And he did not get it, and he should have got it. I mean, really, if I had the money, there would be solar. You wouldn't see nothing on this house but solar panels, my friends. No, I mean, really, it was foolishness on my part. Ignorance, sheer ignorance. True, Kaylee, but I have to align myself with our founding fathers who shed blood, sweat, and many tears in order to bequeath that which we today in the USA before Britain. Yes, as far as that goes, yes, sir. I agree. I do know and I do believe they are our friends. I believe they're one of our. If there's any true friends, country-wise, any real allies, I believe for us it will be Britain. I just do. I don't realize. I'm not even sure Germany. I got to move my chair. I have to move a little bit. We're going into tough times, and I think one of our real friends is going to be Britain. Now, I am not a historian, so I don't know. Things can always go sideways. Yes, I think it's going to be imperative. I personally believe it's going to be imperative because, nope, didn't do it. So one of the other things I was going to talk about, and I believe that I was able to pull up the story before my son took over my desk. So apparently, share the screen. Back to Chrome. I did not get to do that. Darn it. So the story I wanted to share, this other story, is about Russia and China buddying up and bringing Iran into their fold. And apparently for the last number of days, they have had, Russia has done the largest war games they've ever done involving all the branches of their military right close to our Alaskan coast. There's a part of me that just says there's just no way. Oh, and they've really they have reinvested themselves in the deep Arctic camps that they had before, that maybe had been kind of gone by the wayside for a while. Well, apparently they are back in those, and very much staking claim to the Arctic, at least a big chunk of the Arctic. So that does have me concerned. So back to the war games, part of me just wants to say, I can't imagine. Seriously, Russia attacking us? Is that a possibility? I watch a lot of people, a lot of preppers. Some I watch simply for their headlines, okay? To be honest, for their headlines, because they're people that are out there doing a lot of research. However, I don't necessarily support their view of the United States. And I'm open with them about my questioning some of their philosophical theories. So, however, that does not negate the fact that I found this out, and then I looked quickly online, and sure enough, that's happened. That's been happening. This gigantic war games off the coast of Alaska. Now, that doesn't mean that it's never happened before, but never at this size. Also, Putin and Xi Jinping met person to person, face to face, just in the last few days. And there are a lot of questions about what was the conversation about. So I don't know if we'll know, truthfully, what that conversation involved. But it's something to be aware of. Because I do believe, and I mean, nobody's even making any bones about it. They are partnering up so that the yuan, I believe it is utilized rather than the dollar, U.S. dollar, that they can. The reason I'm having another MRI is I'm having some extreme pain. I only say this because I'm actually having some pretty severe pain in my right foot right now. It's like lightning bolts into my foot and into my toes, and it's from sitting. But I can't do any of what I do and that I love to do if I don't sit. I mean, I could stand, but So anyways, I'm having to kind of pay attention to that and rub my foot on the carpet aggressively. So I do worry about that. I don't know. The two of them partnering up against us, who can we count on? And when it appears that Russia is likely going to be arming some countries in Central South America, I mean, honestly, nothing is off the table in my belief. And anything is possible. So that is another issue. That's another concern, to be paying attention to. What are these people doing, and how is it going to potentially affect us? As someone who was working, learning how to prep, I know how it is affecting me. It's making me and Richard think about what we need in order to, if there were an emergency, or even if we had a freeze, like 5 years ago, we had an extremely bad freeze here in this valley. It was horrifying. Without electricity for 4 or 5 days. And we had my father, he was like 88 at the time. He was fine. He did not have any issue. It was us worried about him. But we had him piled with blankets, kept him nice and toasty warm. I mean, it was an interesting time. So what would we do? How are we taking care of that? Those are the things. Those are the prepping questions. More paper than I ever did a living in the Midwest. I'm seeing it more and more here. Eugene didn't, it is a college town. It sort of is a little different atmosphere, but I'm telling you, check this out. Safety. I want to go backwards in the video here. A woman did not have her front door locked. For whatever reason, I don't know. I do lock my front door these days. And so we do have a big German Shepherd Malinois. And by the way, the Beagle is badass. Okay, she is the badass one. And this woman heard noise in her house. She was on her deck. She heard noise in her house. She thought it was her husband. She goes in the house eventually to check it out. She goes into her daughter's room, and she thinks her husband is laid down on her daughter's bed and covered up. she recognizes that it is a stranger. A stranger, a woman, came through her front door and went and climbed in her daughter's bed and this woman roused her, called the police. The woman got up off the bed, threw a big plastic plastic box, like Tupperware. I'm using the word Tupperware, but it's full of toys at her, and left and was hitting out. It was a horrible thing. It's hard to imagine, but those things I don't think are going to lessen. They are going to increase. All right, back to where I was. Eugene is a mid-sized city. I mean, we're like 100,000, 150,000, and we're pretty spread out. So we live in a suburb that I don't believe we aren't just going to get the average everyday person like that coming in here if we did leave the door open. Okay, we live in an area that I just don't see it happening right now. Eventually, as there is more mental illness left unchecked and combining that with homelessness, there will be more things like that going on. And it will put us more at risk. We are out in the north of downtown Eugene, about 8 miles. I'd say your bug out is your RV. That's what mine is. I'm calling it. I can't have a bug out bag. Where am I going to go? Really, me and my walker? I don't think so. I'm not running anywhere. I'm not walking anywhere. Maybe pushing it a half a mile. So I always say my bug out bag is my RV. Question. So which states have no food on the shelves or real bad contaminated water source? So as far as food goes, from what I can tell, because in Oregon, we're not doing bad. That's one of the reasons so many Oregonians in my family struggle with believing this situation, is because Oregon is doing okay, at least as far as Eugene, any surrounding areas. We're not having food shortages. Where I've seen the videos, a good one for this, his name is Poplar Preparedness, POPLAR Preparedness. He gets a lot of videos in from people who are out shopping, and so, anyways, the East Coast is where the majority of what I'm seeing from people on the ground doing videos, sharing them either through him or there's one called Dano, DANNO, something Dano. Adventures with Dano, I think, something like that. He and his wife actually go out, and I believe they're in Ohio. They're in that Midwestern area, and they are seeing a lot. There is a lot of problems there, and they check Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club. Water, my understanding, there is still some problems in the South. And by the way, speaking of the South, constantly wiped up on them twice in 2 different. Oh, we whipped up on them 2 different situations. Their little child grew up and they couldn't control us. That's true. So. Oh God, I was just going to give you a piece of information. It'll come back to me maybe. Yeah, big city, I would not, if I really, Russia's aligned with China, an invasion against us is very real. Okay, so my rational mind says it's possible. that part of me that's scared to death, I can't imagine. I can't imagine, but I don't dispute it. I think that you're not, the probability of an actual land invasion here, I'd say is about, from what I'm reading, is between 40 and 60%. I just hope I'm not alive. I mean, really. But, it doesn't work. Why? One of the things I learned is if not me, then who? If not me, then who? So if not me, then some other of my relative has to deal with this. And that's selfish self-centeredness. Yeah, we practice peace to the best of our ability, but I believe that one of the problems is they have no fear of us. They just have no fear of us. And why should they? I don't know why they would. We're fighting each other. We're having another civil war of sorts. And it's just at the beginning. I'll tell you, part of why I pray to God that it doesn't happen is, I don't know if we could pull ourselves together enough in order to protect the country. Yep, lots of work to be done. They always have. And so why we've allowed China to come in and buy so much land, I mean, really, major pieces of land. I don't understand. I agree. Okay, I understand that. Oh, thank you, dear. Yes, and we have such a tucked away border, don't we? So the conversation could go on and on and on and on and on. The reality is there's so many things we could discuss that I'm just checking out. Okay. All right. So my camera, the battery is going to go dead. Brent gave me Alex, gave me an hour. Oh, there goes the pain. An hour on it, and I need to get up anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you hanging out with me, and I've got some ideas coming up. I've got some canning videos that I'm going to be doing. One this week specifically with some meat. I'm going to can some raw meat. Who knew? Who knew you could just can raw meat? I had no idea. It was so simple. You just put it in there and you can it. And it cooks. And it's usable. You know that our country is not even in the battle. We're much of a new country. At least we're not mentioned in the Bible when the real true battle war happens. Sometimes it's not real straightforward, Renee. I've looked, and I'm not sure. I believe the leaders in China are smarter and more strategic. I believe that too, than in Russia. Oh, yes. So someone made a good point today is that Ukraine is made headway. The Ukraine has made headway. I believe Putin is going to be humiliated soon. And I think when that happens, I mean, really deeply humiliated. I don't think he's going to let that happen. I think he will do something really stupid before that. I just think he's that person. I think he's that kind of person who will not be able to, he can't take it. He just can't take it. Yep, Roy and Becky, we got to run too. I need to go and Sickums are. That's right. Well, she's so cute. You know, she really is on her last little four legs. I mean, some days I think she's not going to make it much longer, and then she's up and she's running and she's rolling and she's having a good time. And she's on Czar, like fly on you know what. And the only time he is remotely possessive is over his food. That's it. Patty can walk all over him, but, you know, she used to just take food from him. This little beagle, no fear. She reminds me of my mother, really, to be honest. Her and Putin kind of remind me of my mom. Scary people. She'd just take food right out of his mouth if he would let her. I've seen her snatch food intended for Czar, tossed to him, and she'd get it. And so, yeah, she definitely is the bad one. Czar, most of the time, well, when he does his big boy German Shepherd bark, I have no fear that he could protect this. I mean, I have no fear. And okay, so I'm sitting in my family room, my door's open, but I'm sitting here, you know. Yes, ma'am, very much so. Take the kids to the splash pad, and they couldn't go because there was almost washing their clothes in the splash pad. You know, it's a sensitive, it is a sensitive conversation. There is a woman, apartment prepper. She did a video that I watched yesterday. She was homeless last year with her special needs brother. These are adult people. And I don't know what created the homelessness need, but they're like in a very snowy part of, I believe, Colorado or Utah. And they were in very cold weather, camping in a Toyota Yaris, living out of, I believe it was a Yaris. You can't stand up in a Yaris. Apartment prepper, a good story if you want to listen to a good story. And she does ask people to please be sensitive to, you know, treat homeless people with respect. I do. I mean, I am someone who treats people with less than I've got ever with respect. I always do. There are people of all sorts that don't treat people, you know, the rest of the world with respect. And part of that is being an alcoholic, a recovering alcoholic. I spent a lot of time, a lot of my life, decades of my life, with people that had a whole lot less and that lived on the streets. The place I preferred to go to, meetings where I learned to not drink and where I helped other women learn to not drink, was right in the middle of our Felony Flats here in Eugene, Oregon. You can look it up on Google Maps. 3rd Street and Blair. 3rd and Blair Street. And I spent many, countless hours hanging out there and talking with, you know, homeless people would come in, and sometimes it would just be for a cup of warm coffee during the winter. Good. You know, we got a cup of coffee for you. Maybe you'll come back another day. give us another opportunity to see if you have a need there. So anyways, thank you guys for coming. Yes, truthful and trustworthy sources. I really be very careful about my sourcing. Like I said, there's a particular prepper I get some headlines from because he does a lot of research. Oh, but I then go and I research and I get do y'all remember the rest of the story? I get the rest of the story. And sometimes I come back and I say, that was not a fully accurate story. You know, why? Why do you need to do that? What's the point? The homeless population is getting really bad in Phoenix. So my next oldest sister lived in the Phoenix area and for 13 years. And she sold buses, mainly to churches. And yeah, she saw a lot. So food shortages, yes. Maybe I'll do a video about that later in the week. That was something else I wanted to talk about because I had mentioned that I also know that there is in Central or South America, there is the worst drought they've ever had. And we do get a certain amount of some of our food from there. That's why becoming self-sufficient food-wise and speaking to myself is imperative. I'm going to see what I could plant for winter, like that it would be a winter crop here in Willamette Valley. All right, you guys. My camera's going to stop. The battery is going to die. So thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. I'm doing the best that I can on trying to get out videos and staying connected and putting out some shorts. Let me see. Let me quickly tell you what my handle is on TikTok. Oh, goodness. Lucky Butter. LUCKYBUTR. Again, my son named it. It's my channel. I can't change it for 30 days. So it'll be about another week, and then I'm going to change it to something that most of you would recognize. But if you're on TikTok, Lucky Butter, and I've got 4 videos up there, and I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's different. I have, it's like I have time to do anything else. It's all I can do to do this. All right, you guys. Well, you stay safe, stay healthy, and know that we love and we appreciate you very much. And I will see you again very soon.